How's that, Dan? Can you hear me? Okay. Oh. How do I go back? Yes, to the first slide, please. All right, I don't know if you can see my first slide, but I now work inside the Beltway, and I'm going to give the State of the Union address. So I've put my face over our current president, Barack Obama, and I'm flanked by two gentlemen that have worked in political circles for years, our past president, Michael Petty, and our past vice president, Cheney. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm getting feedback from either side of me. Sorry. Dick Cheney, as Prof. Schuler said, just about everywhere I went, somebody put Dick Cheney in a slide about MCS therapy. But he did do a lot to bring awareness to the technology and to heart disease. So we're just going to kind of go through. Why is this so hard? Dr. Boniosi was making fun of me. He's like, you can run a VAB, but you can't run a...
Point more at the point at the thing.
It should be at this.
At this.
Just tell me and I'll do it.
Yeah,
Two.
Tonya, that's it.
There we go. Yay! All right. I wanted to share with you Dennis here. I wanted to share with you the ICCAC mission statement, and I think it's really important that we circle around what our mission is. And our mission is the professional mentoring organization of mechanical assist clinicians whose mission is to share information, to educate and support individuals in this field, to obtain optimal outcomes for our patients who require mechanical circulatory support, and to do this through research. So I think that's a really powerful statement, and I think the mentoring piece, the research, and the education piece really shine through for us. I wanted to kind of borrow Michael's slide from last year. This is a history slide. And one thing I want to start with at the very top of the slide, for those of you who can't see it over here in the corner, is way back in 2004, before ICCAC was established, there was a need that our group of VAD coordinators felt to communicate and connect. And Michael established the MCS collaboration through that need to collaborate. This is 10 years running of this very powerful tool of using the internet for all of us to work together and to collaborate. The board was created in 2007, and our original board members are here. Two of our original board members are here: Shauna, Peggy, Annie Cannon, 3, Suzanne Chillicott, Dawn Christensen, 4, Kathy Lockhart, and Michael Petty, and Sherry. So we are really honored to have some of our original board members here with us tonight. We've been hosting our annual meetings. We were in Boston, Orlando, Chicago, San Diego, Prague, Montreal, and now here in sunny Southern California. Last year, just to give you a little bit of an update, we shared with you that we had hired a professional company to help manage the day-to-day activities of the organization. Many nonprofits do this. We just determined that that really wasn't a great fit for us at this time. We're a little too small, so we're still thinking that that may be an option for us in the future, but we backed away from that partnership. Right now, we're focusing our efforts on partnering with My LVAD as a vehicle and a powerhouse to help us create some connections and communication. Our current board members, and I'm going to really invite our current board members to stand up so that you can connect some faces with some names, because we've got a really great group right now. I'm currently honored and humbled to be the president. And as we go through each person, I'm going to bring to your attention some of the other ways that our board members are connected to the VAD community. There's a really great group of people that are doing a lot of great stuff. Our past president reigns from above, Michael Petty. And not only is Michael Petty very involved in the VAD community, but he's very involved in the transplant community. And last night we hosted the Nursing and Allied Health Council here at our house. So Michael brings so much to this organization. Jennifer Beckman, Where'd Jen go? There's Jen Beckman. Jen is in the back door. She is our president-elect. She has just moved to Seattle and is the editor of the newsletter. If you guys have just seen the recent newsletter, it was really terrific, and Jen is the editor. Dawn Christensen, who's just shaking her head in the back. Dawn is a past president. She is the ICCAC rep on the MCS Council for ISHLT, and she's also our IT guru and has made everything from the lights on the gazebo to all of this great IT stuff possible tonight. Tony Martin is our founding board member and really put the idea into motion. Kathy Princer is our secretary. She does an amazing job. Jennifer Francois, you want to wave to everybody? Jen Francois manages the money and is absolutely amazing. I can't even balance my checkbook. So we're really appreciative of Jen Francois. Pam Combs is back in the back. Pam is the head of the membership committee. Pam is also chairing the collaboration with ASIO for our jointly held session. Where's Pam? Is she there? Is she coming? Pam's coming in a sec. Carol Ballou is our annual meeting chairperson, and this annual meeting is in all due efforts of Carol. Not only did Carol work on this annual meeting, but Carol is also on the WHFN annual committee meeting. So we have a connection with our heart failure colleagues through Carol. Hilda Bolin is here from Belgium, and Hilda just travels, brings that whole European information to us, and has also helped Dawn with the UMS meeting, which was really incredible. Jen Calaruso is coordinating some of the education stuff. Redora Jackson. There's Redora. Redora Jackson from Cedars is our financial chair member. Lori Anderson from Tampa. Shauna from Seattle. And Holly Wright from Oklahoma. Okay. So these are our committees. We have a financial committee, an educational committee, annual meeting, membership. We've just made a change to our bylaws, so now it's the informatics committee. We have a new committee, which really Dennis Rivard helped inspire, and Leslie Sweet is going to help us with. It's a collaboration with our vendor partners on understanding more of the politics of what goes on, and that's a really important piece that I'll touch on later. And really what we look forward to is considering expanding to a research committee, because that's part of our mission statement. Okay. I'm not going to get into the Treasury report as much as Jen Francois can, but I just want to be transparent to let you know where our money comes from and where we spend the bulk of our money. Most of our money comes from our membership and our vendor support. We are very, very lucky to have some really robust vendor support, which you can see tonight, and I'll talk to at the end. Our expenditures, our major expenditure is this meeting. This is our chance to spend some face-to-face time and have some real connection. What we would look forward to is considering, in the beginning when we organized, we had a journalist subscription as part of the membership and felt like our resources were kind of stretched, pulled away from that. So be interested to hear from you if that would be an important value added to your membership. Okay. So I got to tell you, a lot of what we do is a pretty heavy lift. And for those of you who can't see it, it's this little teeny guy pushing a boulder, a huge boulder. And where I want to share our work, but I really want to invite you to consider where you can participate and help out. Our educational offerings are webinars and journal clubs, which I'll talk about in a minute. We're interested in developing a best practice library. We want to talk about, I can't tell you how many times on the MCS collaboration, someone's starting a new program and they'll say, who's got a great consent? Who's got a great order set? Who's got a great this and that? We really want to build that best practice group. Our newsletter was really phenomenal, and I think Jen Caruso and Jen Beckman did an amazing job. It's a great way to communicate. One of the things that's been a long, hard project with a big, heavy lift is what we call our TAG committee. And what we heard from the membership in the very beginning is what you all want is a certification exam. That would kind of validate who we are as an organization and fulfill a requirement in a lot of organizations for VAD coordinators to have a certification. That's a huge step. In the interim, what would be very valuable, and maybe our Joint Commission colleagues can weigh in on this tonight, is to define what VAD coordinators need to know in order to be a VAD coordinator. And that's what this TAG committee is. That core curriculum of what you need to know in order to be a VAD coordinator. And who better to write it than VAD coordinators? This is a huge undertaking. So if anybody's interested in participating in some of the efforts around creating that core curriculum, that would be great. We have a really robust European chapter. And Neil, Hilda are great representatives of that European chapter. We're looking to some of our Asian Rim partners. I didn't know this until Thortec shared with us how many centers are coming up in Japan. And Australia is also, that's exciting. Australia is also up and coming. And also the Lori Anderson from Tampa can tell you that the South American organizations are really starting to gain some traction. So here's where a lot of the work is being done. So if you're curious, how can I help? What projects can I work on? These are the areas where we're starting to do a lot of work. If you have a webinar that you want to share, if you have a journal article that you think is really interesting and you'd like to share, we're doing some monthly offerings through the work at MyLVAD. This is a really powerful tool that we're taking advantage of in order to have a community of practice and a really great website that we can utilize. You can see our VAD coordinators forum, our ICCAC forum, some other useful resources. So please visit that website and please think about the webinars and the journal club stuff. The other thing that we're starting on MyLVAD is the Center of the Month, because I think it's really important that beyond the connections that we make at these meetings, that you get to see what other centers are doing. You get to have a little FaceTime and say, oh yeah, I've talked to her on the phone 1,000,000 times. That's what she looks like. This is great. So we'd like to sponsor Centers of the Month. It's really easy. You take some pictures, you tell us a couple key things about what's going on at your program, and then we'll share that so you can maintain some connection. Here's something that we're really excited about. I'm really, really excited to share this with you. And a lot of visionary thought went into moving forward on this. We are now we have hired a company to manage data for MyLVAD. And what that's going to look like is it's going to be a repository that will be a safe, HIPAA secure place for patient data to be. What we want to start out doing is using this repository for the patient satisfaction tool. So patient satisfaction is something that the Joint Commission asks us to do in order to make sure that our programs are meeting our patients' needs. If we do this patient satisfaction tool through MyLVAD, the data will be collected and analyzed and benchmarked anonymously and given back to you. This is like a first step in being able to put data together and analyze it and then give it back to the programs. This is something right now that when I go out as a Joint Commission reviewer, a lot of centers just kind of say, yeah, I have these 20 forms that I collected from my patients and this is what it looked like. This might be a little bit more meaningful, a little bit more real time, and a great platform for us to consider other opportunities to collaborate and do research together. We don't have a tool anywhere right now that's considered valid for this activity. This tool that's up here is Mary Lou O'Hara's tool that she kind of put out there that when I go around I see a lot of centers using. It's our opportunity to create a validated tool, to talk about the barriers to patients participating in it. And maybe this is a great, easy platform for us to start to do that research together. So we're really excited. More to come on that. We have a footprint in just about every international meeting that is being held within the next year. Right now at UMES there was an ICCAC presence. At ASIO, Pam has an ASIO co-sponsored session. Although we don't have a co-sponsored session per se at WHFN.
Pam does not have an ASIO sponsored session. She has an ASIO gigantic session. Seriously, you need to look at the ASIO website because the opportunities for VAD coordinators at ASIO this year is unbelievable. There's a half a day of certification for VAD coordinators who are like, so when the Joint Commission comes and says, so how do we know you know anything about taking care of VADs? There's going to be a 4-hour session where you can go to all those sessions and get credentialed, plus 3 additional sessions. So Pam has worked extremely hard to put this together. We're very excited and very lucky to have a huge presence in ASIO this year. So Pam deserves a huge round.
Go Pam. I know WHFN has a lot of VAD sessions, and Carol's been instrumental in making sure that mechanical circulatory support is well represented. We have a session at Heart Failure Society, and we have a big presence here at ISHLT. And Dawn is taking us to Croatia, so that we are coordinating a session at the Brano meeting in Croatia. So we're very much, the I in ICCAC has a very big meaning. We are very international. The legislative activities. So this is pretty exciting. Dennis helped inspire us to make sure that when CMS opened their public comment, that we were able to add public comment to the cardiac rehab and to the CMS coverage decision. So we really got involved in kind of understanding what that would mean and made some public comment. Because of that, ICCAC percolated to the top of awareness for some lobbyists, and Dawn and I and Michael were invited to go to a lobbying session on Capitol Hill that Jeff Teuteberg held in order to help bring awareness to some of the CMS coverage decisions and some legislation around that. And we're really trying to figure out how we can continue to be much more aware politically and present politically. And so we're creating this legislative committee to sort of take a look at that. Also, as far as research goes, ICCAC has been a part of some research where we've been surveyed by some of our research colleagues. Brian Windmar surveyed ICCAC members in order to write his paper. And there are other colleagues that are looking to do some studies around perceptions that ICU nurses have about MCS therapies. And again, I think this is where ICCAC can play a huge part in facilitating, fostering, and participating in research. We want to thank our corporate sponsors, because really at this point our membership is small. We're small, the few, the proud, the VAD coordinators. And we really do need our corporate sponsors in order to exist. So we're really very happy to have our corporate sponsors. Thank you for that. But what I really want to challenge us with is I feel like this point in time is a pivotal point for us as VAD coordinators. And we really have to figure out how to take our place at this table. We are here, we're doing the work, we're taking care of the patients, and we need to establish what best practice looks like, establish what it means to have core competencies for VAD coordinators, and do some meaningful research that really shows the value added that our care brings and that the quality of life that patients have because of the work that we do. So I know that you're probably looking up here and thinking of about 30 other people that could have been pictured up here, present company included, of course. I just kind of looked at some of the people in history and thought that these were great people. And I think we need to get our pictures up there as well. So with that, that is where ICCAC is at. Does anybody have any questions or comments or thoughts?
The satisfaction survey, would that be anonymous with the patient?
Yes.
But center specific?
Right. So there would be a way that the patient would be anonymous but code the center so it would go into the repository so that your center could pull it out and know how your participants responded. So you'd have to sign into MyLVAD, and the patients could do it in clinic, sign into MyLVAD and go through the survey, and then it's automatically going to be tabulated and sent back to you.
Tonya, questions? Sorry. What about caregivers and family members?
Absolutely, we can design the tool so that caregivers would be part of that and answer. No, that's for you. I'm all mic'd up. No, absolutely design the tool so that we can capture how the caregivers were. And then that really gives us a chance to look at things like down the road, a year from now. I know Dr. Boyce has always been interested in, are you still married to the same person you were married to? I'm always interested in, did you call 911 and did the 911 responder know how to take care of a VAD? We need to have this information in order to know what we're doing out there.
On the paper, I don't know.
Just yeah.
On the paper version, it does ask, are you the patient, are you a caregiver? So
Right.
that is already one of the things that they ask.
This one's live, and I don't know how to turn it on.
But also, for the 4-hour course at SIO, is that going to be available online for people to do?
Pam, is Pam back there? Can Pam answer that? I don't think so, but let me ask Pam, because I don't know for sure. Pam, there's a lot of interest in the SIO meeting. This is Pam. Everybody.
It's going to be fun and exciting. We have some hands-on proficiencies, and we're going to be
Get the microphone.
doing a lot of fun stuff. We're going to do, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hands-on training / proficiencies with everyone at tables. We're going to have various speakers. We will have our own VAD coordinator conference. It will be 2 days. It's growing, and we're being heard. Our voice is being heard. What else do you want to know?
She wanted to know if it was online.
If it was what?
It's going to be online for people.
For competency.
I will work on that, yes. I can make it happen.
Pam's amazing. Well, I'm really glad you're here, and let's let the night roll on. Who's our, thank you.